The Catholic Morning Show.
You want to be of one mind with the people who matter most to you. You want to be close and in concert, and you don't want there to be strife. This is especially true for us who are married with our spouses. When it comes to discord and difficulty, that's something, of course, we want to try to do the best to fix as much as we can. What is the cause of this, and what does it mean to have the irreconcilable differences that we have to navigate? We're going to talk about this and more today with Deacon Kiel. He, of course, comes on every month. You know him from Thursdays, but he comes on every month to talk about issues dealing with psychology here with us on the Catholic Morning Show. Deacon, good morning.
Good morning, Bo. Good to be with you with this topic.
We do appreciate it. So, yes, marital discord, never fun to talk about, but of course, to not think about is to only let it fester. So what does it mean to say that marital discord and irreconcilable differences are related?
You know, I want to address this because so often, I do a lot of marriage counseling through my practice at Cardia. People will tell me that they have irreconcilable differences, so therefore they should divorce, or we just can't stop fighting. I'll hear terms like that. And so it's important to look fundamentally at some of what humanly we go through in marriage as compared to what we go through in our imagination. You know, there's a statement that says we marry our imagination, and then it takes years to discover the reality. And that's not saying that the reality is bad or that we shouldn't get married, but we live for years imagining what marriage will be, who it will be with, what it will be like, all the wonderment and glory, sort of like a vacation. And then eventually we have to change the oil, and we get a flat tire, and difficulties come, and what's that noise back there, and you're beginning to irritate me, and that gets on my nerves, and then, ouch, then a wound happens to the heart and to the mind, and I just can't believe you did that. Now here we go. We've got difficulty, but difficulty doesn't have to equal problem, and difficulty doesn't have to turn into something that the legal world only actually calls irreconcilable differences. As Christians and as Catholics, we have a charge upon us to be reconciled to one another, and that means that we're of a posture that has twofold. One leans to the other in forgiveness of what I have done wrong, and two, forgiveness of what I have had wrong done to me. The center of that is that when we struggle even loving one another, we'll say that, we love our sacrament. The sacrament of holy matrimony is here to minister to us, to carry us in the high times, in the low times, the difficult times, and who else, I would say, but Jesus Christ, in the center of the sacrament of holy matrimony, knows how to go through the sufferings that we have in our marriage, and looking at the sufferings that he went through all the way to the cross, even death on the cross. That's why we so often see, like Ephesians 4 and 5, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So that sacrificial love is what that offering of kind of that forgiveness and that sense of repentance is a source of sacrifice. So when we marry our imaginations, when I see people who have gotten to the point of divorce or post-divorce, quite often they've also divorced their imagination, and the real people didn't exist at those points.
Right. If there's a lot that we have to reconcile, it seems like the ideal to the concrete is part of this. And on one hand, right, you want people to have an ideal of marriage. That's, what we form in our children, right, or hopefully show with couples that are exemplary. So what are some of the practical steps you would say how you marry or reconcile the ideals we have about marriage and the concrete person to whom we are married?
I think first let's go with humanity versus the ideal versus the imagination. Let's go with humanity. We fail one another. We fail one another. We hurt each other. And do we accept that? Looking inside, a question inside of our own human will I have the ability to accept a wrong that is done to me based upon how I perceive it? will I have the ability to accept that? I said, someone says, well, that's intolerable. That should never have happened. That's true, but that's back to the ideal. It did happen. It's wrongdoing. It's still mine to forgive. But here's where we get hung up many times, all of us, is that we forgive and then there's still pain. Forgiveness doesn't take away the pain and the hurt from the wound that happened inside of the conflict or in the dispute or inside the relationship. Forgiveness doesn't take away pain. It just it takes away the right to punish the other person, but we still have to process the hurt. And how long does a hurt last from a specific wound from a spouse? There's no answer to that. It lasts until it dissipates. But the cool thing about emotion is never concrete. It's always transient, it's always moving, it's fluid, and so it does eventually dissipate. Do all hurts go away? No, but they do change, and quite often they do lessen.
We're speaking with Deacon Randy Kiel. We're talking about marital discourses and the perceived idea of irreconcilable differences. Deacon, it seems that for difference is the sort of root of marriage. Like you and I are different people. We are complementary, right? Like that's part of the idea. So for differences to seem irreconcilable, my guess is that there has to be, it becomes a massive big deal. So when it comes to differences that seem to be so great, how do we start chipping away in small ways at something that might be too big to circumvent or deal with?
On the small things, we would say we're drawn together with another person because we have so much in common, because we have so much sameness, and we like the same in the other person, but we have not yet discovered all the differences. Even if we marry the kid next door, that we went to the same church, we both drove a Chevy, we went to the same high school, we both wear blue jeans on Tuesdays, whatever it is. We have all these things in common, and we both like fried rice. Whatever it is, but eventually we're going to discover differences. Coping with differences is a difficulty. I want to emphasize that it's the legal world, as I said earlier, it is the legal world that has come up with the term of irreconcilable differences. Truly, if we look at the mystery of the sacraments and the mystery of holy matrimony, there's a way through everything. And that way through everything ultimately is Jesus Christ, because it's a faith walk. To walk in love, in partnership with our spouse in holy matrimony, that means we're walking in faith with the other person. The faith that says, you don't ever have to prove to me that you love me. I walk in the faith that what you have for me is love, and that what I have for you is love, and I am out for your good. Today I am out for your good, my spouse, just as today Jesus would say, and I am out for you, my children. I am out for the good for you. I am always of good for you. And it calls us back to look at our own personal faith walk of how we're walking as individuals. And so, like, for example, I will pull people away from the topic that is the difficult between people. There are many topics that are difficult to talk about, but underneath it is the struggle within the faith walk that's inside of them, walking in the faith of the other person. That you must have been against me when you said that, and you said that you accidentally said that. No, you must have said that on purpose. And so now we're willing the negative. We're willing the bad in the other person, and that's contrary to love. So there's a deep examination that must go on inside of ourselves when we're in that marital discord that seems like it won't end. And it's not the uncommon, I know that's a coined word for you, but it's not the uncommon in marriage. That's the commonplace in marriage, that we have discord. That's not the abnormal. That not means we're bad people. It doesn't mean it's a bad marriage. It means we're developing a skill. We're called to develop. That's in our discipleship. We're called to develop skills that we had not yet attained whenever we enter into a new sacrament. For example, when we go to reconciliation and we're being given a penance, that penance is going out and we're praying that prayer. We're developing a new skill beyond the sin that we had engaged with in our life. We're entering a skill that leads us more toward holiness. and that same call is true within holy matrimony.
Wonderful. Well, Deacon, before we let you go, if people are interested in finding out more about precisely the sort of therapy that would help them work through this discord, where can they find out more?
Yeah, Cardia Counseling, that's who we are. Our group over there works with people of all different mental health matters, relationship matters, and especially marriage that's difficult. That's a specialty that we work on. It's KARDIA counseling.com. You can look us up, or 515-267-0030.
Deacon Randy Kiel, thank you for joining us on your monthly segment here on the Catholic Morning Show.
Wonderful to be with you both.
Blessings.
What legacy would you like to leave? As part of the Legacy Society, your gift supports the future of the Iowa Catholic Radio Network. By participating in the planned giving process, you can be assured that when you leave this earth, your charitable gift will continue to support this apostolate and its mission of connecting people to Christ. If you're interested in including Iowa Catholic Radio as part of your charitable gift planning, call me, Belle Marasco, at 515-223-1150. Thank you for your prayerful support.